Welcome back to Lineout Lab. My name is Peter O'Donnell. In this video, we're going to look at Ireland's defence in the red zone against Scotland in the last Six Nations game. But before getting into it, if you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button in the bottom right corner of your screen where you get access to loads of additional content from me. Please also like and share the video to help the discussion grow. Thank you. So I'm going to show you a clip from last weekend's Six Nations game between Ireland and Scotland, and we have a six-man line out inside the 22. So I'm just going to play it through once, and then I'm going to just talk through a few elements of what Ireland have done. So the first clip I'm going to show you is a six-man. And keep your eyes on the Scottish jumper with the red scrum cap, and he's going to shift and change positioning. So I'll play it through once, and then I'll talk through it in a bit more detail and show you how Ireland went about turning over Scotland. So as we look at it here, the guy's red scrum cap is towards the back, and then he shifts towards the middle, and then looks to attack the ball in the front middle space. But Ireland do a great job of turning over. And actually, if you keep an eye on James Ryan, he's actually a very good defender in this position and in this slot, and he turns over a lot of teams with reads like this. So let's look in a little more detail. So we see Scotland coming into the line out. See the red scrum cap. He looks like he's going to he's going to walk in towards the back. Keep your eye on what the Tadhg Beirne does here in this middle pod. It looks like Ireland could potentially be on a bit of a hinge system here. All right, and that this man here might lift a Mahoney, but that's maybe the picture they're trying to present. But actually, or even that he might jump himself, but he's probably not. Some teams might use that strategy of having a bit of a mirror system in the middle, but really Ireland are going two pods here. Okay, that's really what they're going for. They're looking to put them under pressure. So keep your eye on what Tadhg Beirne does here and that back pod in particular. But as we notice, we'll see the Scottish number 5 in the red scrum cap. He's going to shift and change position to move towards the middle of the line out. So as that shift happens, keep your eye, as I said, on Tadhg Beirne. Notice how he moves forward. Okay, Scotland are now in a 1-3-2 setup. Ireland are quite happy to give the front. Okay, so if this man was to turn around, he can defend the bailout. They've got a winger here, so they can deal with it. It's a 2v2 if Scotland weren't necessarily going to throw the ball in, or they were going to do a bailout, let's say, to the front of the line out. But Ireland are kind of giving that front of the line out, and they have this man here in the middle back position, ready to defend, depending on what happens off it. Is he going to defend maybe at the ball at source, or is he more than likely going to defend potential threats thereafter from the Maul? But as I said, keep your eye on Tadhg Beirne and notice how he moves position to compress that space. Because it's a 1-3-2, he can defend the middle back from the back. So if this man was going to jump here on that spot, he can defend kind of coming over the top of him. Okay, and he can also track back if there's a bit of movement. He can make a read and track back. So I really like how he's actually helped create create space for create license for Ryan to go after this. The other thing that we're looking at is this position here of the second man in the line-out. He's slightly offset in that he's given the red scrum cap, or number 5, space to move through. So that's probably a picture that Ryan would have seen in his homework and analysing the Scottish line-out, in that once we see it, and not just Scotland, like a lot of teams might just present that picture, that's a default option to maybe go towards if the space is there, that they'll look to attack that, either default or pre-planned movement, so to speak. So Ryan's going to would have seen that picture. So watch it again as we see what Ryan does. So he's at the front, he's kind of looking around, head in a swivel, moves back, sees the picture he's looking for. He's happy to defend the tempo. If this man was to go up on the spot, he can defend that. And then on the cue and body language, he'll see them moving forward. And notice how his front lifter reacts too, and gives him an opportunity to get up and compete just in front. So it's a really good turnover from Ireland. But keep your eye on Tadhg Beirne as well. Like, notice how he also moves forward in case there's any sort of dummies or anything like that. And if they don't win the ball, they're obviously then ready to defend the line out, or the Maul, I should say. So really, really good work from Ireland. So I'm going to show you the next line-out, which happened more or less in the same position soon after. And what we have is a 5-man line-out, and notice we have the changing of +1s. So notice how Scotland changed their +1s late. Some people are a fan of this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is changed and they become stricter to change numbers. I quite like the late change. At least, I think to change the picture once, but if you're changing it a lot, I think that can get quite messy. This, for me, I feel, World Rugby were heavy on the receiver, who the receiver was before the World Cup, and since then they haven't really cranked down on it as much, or that you can only have one. You can't have people leaving the line at being more than 2 meters. It can only be the receiver, so to speak. So I feel that hasn't really been pushed in the last couple of years, or since the World Cup. So here we are again. There's a bit of a shift again from the red scrum cap, but they also change the +1. So they bring this man in here towards the front, and they drop off this guy here at the back. Okay, thereby looking the picture like that Ireland are going to compress towards or Scotland are going to compress towards the front of the line-out, which brings these three defenders to the front to mark this squash option. But it's really these guys that now we're looking at, or that we're looking at now in terms of winning the ball. So there's a little bit of movement. I like this extra layer of dummy that Scotland go. They're going to go back as a pod of 3, which just keeps them there. And then once that's the cue and the trigger, again, Scottish number 5 is going to turn to front lift with the +1 coming in at the back. Okay. And now, as we look at this, technically the +1 is only allowed leave to enter the line once the ball has been thrown. And this one is actually marginal enough, to be fair. Like, that ball is thrown. It's not the worst. He's not too far off. That ball is in the air now, and he's just coming in. So it's actually all right. In other cases, we're seeing lineouts where jumpers or +1s are coming in as lifters before that ball is thrown. And usually as well, it's much easier to do at the back of the lineout, which is something Scotland have done before, and it's one thing that I quite like, using the +1 to come in as a back lifter. I think it's a really sharp movement. But what's interesting about this is, if we play it on, I'll play it through and then I'll talk through it in a bit more detail, is how Ireland defend it and how quick they are to defend it. So they end up turning this ball over, but if you keep your eye, as I go back, keep your eye on Tadhg Beirne and how quick he, here in the middle back, as he goes forward, how quick him and Porter are to get into that front seam and make it a real mess. So they're a really good job, and once there's hands on there, Tadhg Beirne is one of the hardest guys to shift in Maul D. So Scotland go back here. As I said, keep your eye on Tadhg Beirne. He's in here looking to get eyes on, looking to get arms into that front seam, which he does a really good job of, because he's quite tall, but 2, he's got the mentality to get in there. Okay, so, and Porter as well is ready to hit towards the back here and put the back lifter under pressure. With that motion, Porter hits on the outside to try and win that headspace, and then because of the way Tadhg Beirne tries to get into the front seam, he naturally twists the line out as well, which makes it hard for Scotland to get a real punch to go forward. Okay, so that really adds to this in terms of defensively. It makes it really difficult for Scotland to get a front foot ball. And then Scotland had pre-planned, with a 5+1, they'd pre-planned to add backs in, adding extra weight. But even though it's going forward, they don't really have any platform because Tadhg Beirne is in on the ball. So really, really difficult for them in this scenario. And then it results in a turnover for Ireland. So really smart work from Beirne in particular, but also Porter in terms of how quick they track back. I do like the attacking option, I have to say, from Scotland. So it's a little bit unlucky that it was just really good defence. But yeah, hats off to Ireland on this one, so well done. So there we are, folks. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this different format, a little bit different. So please drop me a comment, let me know what you think. If you'd like more on this, let me know. How can I make it better? Certainly the live streams could be a little bit better, I think, still, but we're working on that, which I've started to do recently. But as I always say, look, I'm trying to grow the discussion online, and I'm really passionate about it. And if you're watching this, I'm sure you are too. So to help grow the channel, please click that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. So thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts.